You started investing. You opened the account, picked your funds, set up automatic contributions. You did everything right. And then nothing happened. You checked after 3 months and it was up maybe 2%. Then you checked again and it was down. And you thought, is this even worth it? Here's what nobody tells you. The hardest part isn't picking stocks or choosing index funds. It's not even saving the money. The hardest part is staying in when it feels like nothing's happening. Most people quit right before their portfolio actually starts to grow. They give up right before compound interest kicks in. They walk away right before the math works in their favor. I want to show you exactly why that happens and how to make sure you're not one of them. Let me tell you about Maya. She started investing at 25. She put $200 a month into a total market index fund. She was excited. She felt smart. She was finally doing what everyone said she should. After 6 months, her portfolio was worth about $1,200. Her contributions plus maybe $30 in gains. After a year, about $2,500. Again, mostly her contributions. She kept thinking, I'm just putting money into an account. This isn't growing. This isn't building wealth. By year 3, she stopped. It felt pointless, like she was just moving money around, not building anything. Here's what Maya didn't understand. She wasn't looking at the right timeline. She measured success in months and years when compound growth measures success in decades. She quit at year 3, but if she had stayed, by year 10, her $24,000 in contributions would have grown to over $36,000. By year 20, over $117,000. By year 30, nearly $300,000. She walked away right before the exponential curve, right before her money starts making more money than she does. This isn't about being impatient or lazy. This is human psychology. Our brains aren't wired for exponential growth. We're wired for linear thinking. We expect effort today to show proportional results today. But investing doesn't work that way. The first few years feel like nothing because mathematically, they are almost nothing compared to what comes later. Let me show you what actually happens in a portfolio over time. Say you're putting $500 monthly into index funds. After 1 year, you've contributed $6,000. At 8% returns, conservative compared to the S&P 500's 10% historical average, you might have $6,200. You made about $200. That's it, roughly 3% of your total. It doesn't feel real. It doesn't feel like wealth building. But that $200, next year, it earns returns too, and the year after that. This is compound interest. Your returns start earning returns. Year 5, $30,000 contributed. Portfolio worth $37,000. $7,000 in gains. Still feels small. You're thinking, I could have made that with a side hustle. Year 10, $60,000 contributed. Portfolio $91,000. $31,000 in gains. Now it's real. You made more from investments than most people save in years of working. Year 15, $90,000 contributed. Portfolio $173,000. $83,000 in gains. More than a year's salary just sitting there, growing. Year 20, $180,000 contributed. Portfolio $745,000. $565,000 came from growth, not from you, from compound interest doing its thing decade after decade. This is why people quit. Years 1 through 5 feel like pushing a boulder uphill, but years 10 through 30, the boulder rolls downhill on its own. It picks up speed. It grows faster than you can contribute. Most people never see that. They quit at year 3 when gains are measured in hundreds, not understanding that by year 20, gains are measured in tens of thousands per year. The psychology is brutal. We need immediate feedback to stay motivated. We need to see progress. But investing rewards patience with exponential returns. The first decade lays the foundation. The second and third decades build actual wealth. Here's another angle most miss. It's not just about time. It's about staying invested through bad years. The market doesn't go up in a straight line. Some years you're up 20%. Some years you're down 15%. When you're down 15% in year 2 with an already small portfolio, it feels catastrophic, like confirmation that investing doesn't work. But if you pull out, you lock in those losses. You never recover. You never experience the years where the market bounces back and hits new highs. The people who build wealth aren't the ones who never experience losses. They're the ones who stay invested through them. So what's the shift? How do you change your relationship with your portfolio so you don't quit before it grows? First, stop checking it like it's a scoreboard. Your portfolio in year 3 isn't a reflection of whether you're doing it right. It's a seed you planted. You don't dig up seeds every week, you water them and wait. Second, reframe what progress means. In the early years, progress is continuing. Progress is not panicking when the market drops. Progress is staying consistent. That's the whole game. Consistency determines whether you're in the $700,000 column or the $0 column 30 years from now. Third, and this is the hardest part, emotionally separate from short term results. Your portfolio will have bad years. It will have years where it goes down. If you can't handle that psychologically, you won't make it. But if you internalize that volatility is the price you pay for long term returns, you'll be fine. You'll stay in. You'll let compound interest do what it does best. Here's what changes when you make this shift. You stop obsessing over daily price movements. You stop wondering if you should time the market. You stop second-guessing your funds. You just keep going, month after month, year after year, through boring years, through scary years, through years where it feels like nothing's happening. And then one day, maybe 10 years in, maybe 15, you realize this is real money now. This is financial security. This is freedom from paycheck dependency. This is passive income growing in the background while you live your life. That's the outcome. But it only happens if you don't quit at year 3. So what do you actually do? First, automate everything. Set up automatic contributions so you're not making emotional decisions every month. Pick a percentage of your income, 10, 15, 20%, and have it go straight into your investment accounts before you see it. This removes the psychology. You're not choosing to invest every month. You're just invested. It's happening whether you feel motivated or not. Second, choose boring investments. Total market index funds, S&P 500 index funds, target date retirement funds. These aren't exciting, they won't make you rich overnight, but they'll compound steadily over decades without requiring you to pick individual stocks or time the market. The less you think about your investments, the less likely you are to mess with them when things get uncomfortable. Third, and this is the crucial one, decide right now how often you're allowed to check your portfolio. Once a month, once a quarter, once a year. Set that rule and stick to it. Every time you check, you're creating an opportunity to panic, to second guess, to make emotional decisions. The less you look, the easier it is to stay consistent. If you're overwhelmed about where to start, open a Roth IRA if you're eligible. Max it out every year if you can. That's $7,500 for 2026. Put it in a total stock market index fund. Set up automatic monthly contributions, then don't touch it. Don't check it obsessively. Just let it grow for 30 years. That's it. That's the strategy. It's not complicated, it's not sexy, but it works. Here's what I want you to take away. Quitting before your portfolio grows isn't a personal failure. It's a completely understandable psychological response to a system that rewards waiting when our brains are wired for immediate feedback. But now you know. Years 1 through 5 are supposed to feel slow. The exponential curve doesn't start until later. People with 7-figure portfolios didn't get there because they were smarter or picked better stocks. They stayed in the game long enough for compound interest to take over. The math is on your side. Time is on your side. You just have to not quit. If you started investing and it feels like nothing's happening, good. That means you're right on schedule. Keep going. Check back in a decade. That's when it starts to feel real. If this helped you reframe how you think about investing, let me know in the comments. And if you're not investing yet but thinking about starting, this is your sign. Start small, start boring, start consistent. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.